back with another chapter of Expected Unexpected by Arctic Vulpix with help from Corona Pack, according to the offer note. We are currently on chapter 75, and in the last chapter, Springtrap kind of found a loophole because it managed to hurt Petey because the building doesn't consider her as human. It considers her ghost, and the ghosts were not included in the deal that Ruby made with Springtrap, and he got hurt. After being very stupid, by the way. Her and Jeremy, like in the previous chapter before that. So, yeah. Anyway, if you want to follow along, chapters will be in the description below, as always, for you. And I highly do recommend you follow along, like, really do follow along, because I have a habit of accidentally skipping words or, like, stuttering over them. It's all accidental. I don't notice until I'm editing, I'm like, it's too late. So yeah, do highly recommend. And also at the end, you can leave a review. You don't need an account. It just means the author will respond. That's all. Which I really do again highly recommend you review and show love to the author because they wrote this awesome story, which I love because it's hilarious. Although now it's getting a little empty with Stevie now being injured. But yeah, let's just get right into this. It's chapter 75, night 6. Take free. Jerry sat in the waiting room of the hospital, hands still covered in Phoebe's blood. He couldn't breathe. He didn't think. She lost a lot of blood. She was a rare blood type, so it was a lucky teammate match. But he hadn't even seen her. The doctors wouldn't give him updates yet. No news. She could die in surgery any second, and he wouldn't be there. He had to arrive when the ambulance once, and again at hospital. Jerry shuddered out of sob and sunk his face into his hands, forgetting about the blood for a minute. His sister's blood. What he had left? What if the bot time stopped him? How? Grit his teeth in rage. Why had he been stopped from keeping Springtrap from doing this very thing? The same deal that would have blown the taser up in his hand had Ruby not intervened and let that monster tear Phoebe apart. Excuse me, Mr. Fitzgerald. Jerry jumped and looked up at the doctor, hastily standing up. He gave answers about Hebe now, good or bad. Later that night, when Ruby arrived for her shift, she went straight to Fazbear Fright, pausing only long enough to assure the originals that she was all right. They didn't seem too convinced as they walked their head to work. As she stepped into the attraction, she did something she'd never done before. She locked the door behind her. She was regretting not doing it the previous night, although he also had keys to the entire building, so it might not have helped. So finally a ball of fear and anger tightened as she saw up the mechanic, gripping the door handle until her knuckles turned white. No one was walking in on her tonight. Only Goldie could enter without the key, and she wouldn't go into this part of the building willingly. Ruby didn't want them to see her shine. She knew herself well enough to know that the fury bubbling below the surface was going to explode rather violently when she next saw Springtrap. A twisted smile across her lips as she heard the body snatcher calling out, obviously very confident of tonight's outcome. He was expecting a fight in his traumatized teenager. Oh, wouldn't he be surprised? You called? Springtrap heard behind him and he turned in surprise. He had expected to have to hunt the head girl down. Might put on a brave face. Might put on a brave face then. Hi, yes. I wanted to ask about the little earthquake. He gave a cruel smile. Ruby's expression darkened and something lit up in her eyes. He kept a slight place what it was, though. Do you remember what I told you last night? She asked, tilting her head to the side, eyes locked on him. What? Springtrap was surprised at the apparent lack of anger. I told you that you'd regret telling Phoebe. I don't like teasers, you see. A chill went up his spine as he remembered Phoebe saying the same thing as she laughed at him. He tried to shake it off. That was ridiculous. She'd been ruling over blood loss. I made the game fair. Gave you a fair chance. And what do? You go after someone not participating. That's workmanship, Michael, she sighed. He started in surprise at the sound of his name. Had he actually told her who he was? She'd been calling him Springtrap since the beginning, so he assumed that he had kept it for himself. Oh, yeah, I know who you are. Was it too hard to find out? Ruby said non- nonchalantly. Or by William Afton, owner of Afton Robotics, the company that made my box. My co-founder of the Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria franchise. She began circling him as she spoke. The younger sibling, the middle child, your sister Elizabeth, died mysteriously when she was 8. Your youngest sibling, Timmy, had his head crushed when you shoved him into an elephant's mouth. She paused. "Is that your first kill?" she asked innocently, while her eyes stayed locked on him. A smirk formed on her face, and her eyes glittered with malice. "You were as bad a brother as you were a human being, weren't you? For on purpose. Those are all horrible accidents, Michael." Jerry came out with a twisted smile. His eyes narrowed, and he lunged at her. Who was she to dig into his past? It was gone and forgotten. He and the company had done their best to bury it, after all. How did she find this out? Ruby easily sidestepped his arm and tripped him, sending him crashing to the floor. "I'm busy talking, Michael. Don't be rude," she admonished before a crack filled the air. He screamed in shock and pain as she brought Betty down on his left leg, completely shattering it. "Oh, don't be a baby," she rolled her eyes. "It's a broken leg." She gave said leg a swift kick as he tried to get up. He fell back to the floor with another shocked cry. "That's better." She nodded in satisfaction, looking far too tearful for just having broken his leg. "Now, where was I?" She strolled around in front of him. "Oh, right. I was going over your exciting history." Her smile would have been happy if it weren't for the cruel twist of the darkness in her eyes. "So, your siblings are dead, one because of you, stress on the family, yada yada, and your parents separate. You go with Mom here, and your dad vanishes to who knows where. Isn't long before tragedy starts again, Mom dies as well. They have mysterious circumstances of your daughter. Of course, you're of age by now, so you need to support yourself. Can't find Daddy anywhere, so you head back to Freddy's where you get a job as a night guard." She crouched down in front of him, just out of arm's reach. "This is where things get interesting, isn't it?" she asked mockingly. "Big birthday bash, and you see the perfect opportunity. You know where all the seats are stored, so you can pull an old one out. A spring lock one that you can't wear. You lure 6 kids away and kill them one by one." She tapped Betty thoughtfully on the ground. "Oh, except you're an idiot and can't count. So one gets away. Can't cover that up. Big police investigation. But you still get away with it." She sighed and shook her head mournfully. He glared at her. I don't know why they would. He glared at her. Just what was she doing? "So what I would like to know is how you ended up in that suit. How did you end up possessing Spring, Michael?" she asked, still tapping Betty on the tiles. "Like I'm going to tell you," smirked Rick Payne. "And really, damaging Spring's body? Dangerous tactic, little girl. Thought you wanted to save him." "Oh, I did. I do. But you see, I'm really pissed off," she answered. "And when that happened, I didn't really think very clearly. Truthfully, I'm feeling strong urge to touch the gasoline that Jeremy left the office and watch you burn." He stared at her and felt a shiver run through him. She wasn't bluffing. He could see it in her eyes. Fury, grief, sadistic pleasure, and under all of it, an undercurrent of madness. Her green eyes practically lit up with it. "So you understand now," Ruby purred, leaning closer. "I'm on my bed. I barely restrain myself from doing serious damage to you. I know it would hurt," she sighed wistfully, "but that would be a very, very bad road to follow. I've fallen off that knife edge before, and the consequences are dire." Her eyes clouded for a moment, and she clearly remembered something. She shook her head to clear it. "My therapist would be very disappointed in me if I did that again. I really don't want to worry Alice with Clint like that again. So how about you answer my question?" "Screw you," he spat. She loved the Anarchites too much to do any more serious damage to his body, he was sure. Quick as a striking cobra, Betty lashed out and slammed into his right wrist, crushing the metal and his fury. He screamed again. Oh, low pain tolerance, huh? Ruby asked conversationally as she pulled the bat, now dripping in oil back. She watched the black liquid for a moment before turning to him. Now, my question? Grinding his teeth, he finally realized what he meant. The entire week this girl had been playing with him, handicapping herself to make the game fair, to stop her from causing too much damage. He had angered her enough to cut through that restraint now. I hid him in a room in the building that no one else knew about. He reluctantly told her. When the investigation ended, I went back to get the suit. I didn't know about the brat's ghost. Ruby laughed and unhinged out. Oh, that's priceless. That they frighten the living daylights out of you. She glared, but continued when she looked at that again. I hid in the suit, but the lock failed. She didn't even flinch at the image that produced. So you died and possessed the suit that killed you. He reluctantly nodded. Makes sense in a weird way. Now, second question. Was Spring still there? Now he smirked. I just in a wink, just so I could make him relive those memories. I needed to have some entertainment when I was moved to storage. Ruby's expression went from slightly serious to barely contained fury. And now? Her voice was ice cold. It was too distracting when they opened Sad's Bear Fright the first time, so I shut him up. It took me so far through that I haven't heard from him since. He answered smugly, before realizing his error as Ruby left again, this time with a taser. It was a good few minutes before she pulled it back and was still twitching and actually sparking to say anything for a few minutes now. A few minutes after. What would your dear boss say if they saw you now? He asked, trying to throw her off. She just smiled back. Doors locked, and I just answered the tablet they were using to lock. Just you and me, Michael. She practically cooed. Just us, all shift. The night shift begun. That statement sent a shiver down his spine again, and he looked close at her. His earlier words coming back to haunt him. He'd convinced her that Spring was gone. Why should she hold back now? Finally learning how dangerous this girl was, she wasn't completely sane, and she was apparently fine with torture. He grew desperate. Using his good arm, he grabbed the front of her jacket and pulled it down, surprising her. Her reflexes were far better than his feet, and he still kept his body, however, and it's positive that taser had fried a few circuits. He twisted out of his grip and got away from him with only a bruise. He growled and used the nearby wall to pull himself upright. His right hand was useless with a wrist dangled like that, and his left leg was beyond help currently. He was horrified to admit that he was at this girl's mercy. Not a nice feeling, is it? She asked quietly. He helped us with a dangerous psycho out to get you. Her eyes were tired. She seemed far older than her 16 years. I'm at least able to admit my fault and learn to control them. You let yours control you your entire life. First your brother paid for it, then innocent children, and you scarred the rest of his life. Then you tried to kill her too. She reached for her bag and pulled out the rusty pipe he had tied Petey with. She grabbed it from the hospital when no one was looking. You're the killer, and as horrible as it is, I see some similarities between us. Resorting to violence while having specific minds, what's the anger? Anger is doing horrible things. The difference is I choose to control it. I choose to keep my humanity intact. Just for tonight, though, I'll give in. She looked at him for a long moment before walking towards him. It's over, Michael. She leaned in close, and for once he was frozen with true fear. He saw himself reflected in those cold green eyes. Just for this one moment. Goodbye. It hasn't been a pleasure. She shoved the pipe into the heathen section, exactly where he stopped heaving. Oil sprayed out of Ruby while burning pain hit him, cutting off his scream. It was a twisted recreation of the previous night as his body hit the floor, twitching. Of course, he wasn't dead, but this body had reached its limit. The game was over. Ruby felt sick as she watched the oil spread out under the twitching animatronic. Her need for revenge to protect her little found family at this pizzeria was satisfied. She had wanted to take the same risk that he used the same method that let him attack Edie on anyone else. She She needed to end it as soon as possible, and this was the best method, even if she hated it. If she trapped him, she could have escaped. If she avoided him, he would have gone after someone else. It was over. However, the oils looked remarkably like black blood, soaking the floor as well as her clothes, face, and hair. Shaking, she leaned against the wall and slid down. Most days, she hated the memories that plagued her. Some days, she hated the world that took her family from her. Then there were days like today, where she hated herself for what she was capable of. She looked up when she saw a cold presence and saw the six ghost looking at her. Don't cry, she whispered, making her realize that there were indeed tears flowing down her cheeks. You will regret. You're not the same as him. He turned to look sadly at the quick killer. Silver, you seem to bring some further tolerance from him. Whether he comes back or not, that's what that's what's important, Ruby. You saved him, and everyone understood him from Michael. He would never have stopped until forced you. Thank you. Think you finally taught my brother to fear something besides death. You're coming after him, aren't you? She asked, still watching Michael. Yes. You don't hate him for causing your death? No. He didn't mean to. But I still hold him responsible. I don't blame Goldie, though. That's good. She cried tiredly and leaned her head back against the wall. You've got some similarities to him, Ruby, but you're very different people. He did horrible things because he enjoyed it. You do horrible things because you have precious people to protect. Don't forget that. She gave him a weak smile. Silvers will understand. I stopped Jeremy from doing exactly what I did today. No, he would have ended up hurting himself if he continued. She sighed. You're talkative today. I want you to place the blame where it belongs. On Michael for forcing your hand. He crossed the line. You reacted. She stayed silent. She still wasn't sure what to think about her actions tonight, or what the others would think. Timmy stayed with her all through the shift until the time ran at 6. The rabbit and Antoine they were watching started again before going still. The ghost of a young man, barely out of his teeth, was forcefully thrown out of the box. He stared at the two of them for a moment, eyes wide when he spied Timmy. Then he vanished. Timmy followed soon after. Ruby didn't have the energy to get up or the willpower to face anyone right now, even though they had to be frantic with worry. And that's the end of chapter 35 and FNAF 3. If you think about it, Ruby won, but at what cost? We'll maybe find out in this chapter whether Spring is okay or not, and whether he's cool too, because we never found that out. Well, I know, but you guys. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this chapter. A little shorter than the previous chapters have been, which honestly I'm happy with. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Go leave a like on the video and go review. I don't want any comments of the video. I want you to go leave a review, show the author some love. Like I said at the beginning, tap the link in the description below for you to click on. Go, show the author some love. We're done here. Before you do go, be sure to subscribe. Upload videos every Friday and Saturday. I'll see you guys tomorrow with the next chapter of Media of the Mind.